Hi everybody, welcome back to Teacher Boris Piñeres on YouTube. Today, a topic that sometimes is difficult to understand, but we're going to make it easy for you. What have you been doing? Present perfect progressive. Let's learn and enjoy it with Teacher Boris Piñeres on YouTube. So first of all, let's talk about what do we use for. ¿Para qué lo usamos? So we use the present perfect progressive for expressing situations or events that started happening in the past but continue happening in the present. So in Spanish, algo empezó en el pasado, pero se continúa haciendo en este momento en el presente. Then we have here, so arrows, a timeline. Then we start in the past, and we continue making this activity in the present. It's possible that we continue doing the same activity in the future. The first structure we're going to study today is the structure for positive statements or affirmative statements. The structures are, very easy. Look at this, it's like, like a mathematic situation. So we have here the pronoun, first of all, plus have or has, plus be, that is the past participle of the verb to be, estado, and the principal verb or the main verb that is in ing form. For this, we have some examples of this structure. So the first example that we have here is I have been recycling plastic bottles. Yo he estado reciclando botellas plásticas. The second one is you have been growing organic food. Tú has estado cultivando comida orgánica. The other one is talking about the third person, so we have here he, él, she, ella, or it, that eso, esto, aquello. And the pronoun, the example is he, she, or it has been saving water. Él, ella o eso ha estado ahorrando agua. Y let's say the last example that we have here is talking about we or they, in this case the plus one, and it says we or they have been making reusable tools. Nosotros o ellos hemos estado haciendo herramientas reutilizables. So if you follow this structure that we have here highlighted, you can make a lot of expressions or sentences or statements using the present perfect progressive. Let's talk about negative statements. So here we have negative statements, and this part has almost the same structure, but the only difference that we have here is the word not that help us to build the negation. And the structure here is pronoun plus have or has plus not plus been, estado, plus a verb, a principal verb and a main verb in ing form. Well, this is the general structure that we use to create statements in negations with present perfect continuous, present perfect progressive. But remember that sometimes we don't use, for example, have not, or we don't use has not. If you are speaking English, it's better to say haven't, that is we use a joining have and not, or hasn't that we're using here. Join it has and not. Then we have some examples. Look at the structures and then we have some examples. The first example says, I have not been buying bottled water. Yo no he estado comprando botellas de agua, botella de agua. Look, if I don't want to say have not, I say, for example, I haven't been buying bottled water. And the second one is you have not been wasting energy at home, or you can say you haven't been wasting energy at home. And then we have here something that is special, that is the third person. Then remember that we have he, she, and it, and has. In this case, we don't use have, but we use has. And the word not. We say, for example, he, she, or it has not been using drinking straws. And we can say, for example, he hasn't, or she hasn't, or it hasn't been using drinking straws. And finally, here we have the plural of pronouns, and then we have here we, they, and have, that is the way we use the auxiliary verb with these plural people, and the word not. And we say, for example, we or they have not been eating meat every day, or if you are speaking English to make it fluent, or to make your talk more fluent, so you say we haven't or they haven't been eating meat every day. So let's translate some of them. For example, number one, here we say I have not been buying bottled water. Yo no estaba comprando botellas de agua, botella de agua. Or for example, we say here he, she, or it has not been using drinking straw. Él, ella o eso no han estado usando pitillos para tomar. Now, let's continue with yes, not. Now, let's continue with yes-no questions. And here, yes-no questions, we have a special structure, just a little bit different from the one we have been using before. In this case, the first words that we use are have or has, plus pronoun, plus being. Then we use the main verb, and finally we need to locate, to put the interrogative mark to make the question understandable, right? And if you follow this structure, it's gonna be easy for you just to build a sentence, a yes-no question sentence. And we have some examples. These examples, all of them start with have, or in the case of third person, we have to start the example with has. And the first example is, have I been reducing water consumption? In Spanish, we say, he estado yo reduciendo el consumo de agua. Second one, say, have you been using public transportation? ¿Has estado tú usando transporte público? Then, in the third example, we include he, she, or it. We say, for example, has she been giving environmental lessons? So we have to make sometimes emphasis on the person we use, because we need to be clear if we are talking about he or we are talking about she. Or for example, we can pronounce here, has he been giving environmental lessons? The translation of this last one is, ha estado él dando lecciones de medio ambiente. And the very last example we have for these yes-no questions is, have we or have they been carpooling to work? I mean, so you know, carpooling is sometimes a very difficult word to understand, or difficult verb to understand. But like, let's see, general translation is compartiendo, and then we have, if we want to translate this, for example, we say, have we been carpooling to work? Hemos estado compartiendo el automóvil al trabajo. Maybe it can be that one, the translation we can use. Okay, so let us continue. Well, now we have WH questions. Well, this is not so perfect to highlight here, but if we are talking about WH, it's because we use a word that wants to ask for a specific information, like what, like where, who, or how. And then in this case, my students, we have a special structure very similar to the one we used before in the WH question, but the new thing here is at the beginning, at the very beginning of the expressions of the sentence or the question we build or we pronounce, we also need to use the WH question. As I said before, can be what, can be where, who, or how. And then we have WH question plus have or has, plus pronoun, plus be, plus ing verb. I mean the principal verb, the main verb is going to finish in ing form. And the last one is the interrogative mark that always is going to be at the end of the sentence, in this case, question sentence. So we have some examples here. Please look at the structure. And we have some examples here. And the examples are, first one, what have I been doing to offset my carbon footprints? So offset is to erase or borrar en Spanish. ¿Qué he estado haciendo yo para borrar mi huella de carbón? So remember that we produce a lot of contamination or pollution every day. So this is a question that makes us to reflect about our behavior. The second question we have here is, where have you been doing urban gardening or gardening? So in Spanish, say, donde se ha estado haciendo jardinería urbana, cultivos urbanos. And here we have the third people, or the third person. So we have here he, she, or it. And in this case, it's necessary to use has. And says, who has he or she or it been giving environmental lessons? ¿A quién les ha estado dando clases de medio ambiente? And the last examples we have here is with how, I mean como, and says, how have we or they been using our, in this case we are in the sentence, or they if we talking about other people, permaculture knowledge. Cómo hemos estado nosotros o ellos usando nuestro o su conocimiento sobre permaculture. So my friends, this is a very short explanation about the use of present perfect progressive to remind, to make you to get familiar again with this topic. So, thank you. So, thank you very much. I'm gonna give you a recommendation. Yes, here you can always do something good at follow this link. This is my YouTube channel, and you can subscribe and get a like, and you also can find another topics and explanations and maybe a lot of interesting things to do with English here. So I'll be so glad if you just give me a like and subscribe here. Another possibility to continue keeping in touch is in my Twitter, that is @English in tweets, or in my Instagram, that you can find there a lot of vocabulary and some tips for learning English. So it's @PD.learning center. Bye bye.